Welcome to Against the Odds. Everyone has a story. What's yours? Sharing your story can inspire and ultimately transform lives.
Is it possible that elevated PSAs could be something else other than?
So elevated PSA could be something else. Yeah, it could be prior to your test. The rectum was stimulated for whatever reason. Yeah, so prior to your test, like I'm pretty sure when your doctor did your digital rectal exam, he also did a PSA. They will usually draw your blood before he did that exam. Because if he does that exam and they draw your blood, your PSA might be high. Because the prostate was stimulated.
Okay.
Yeah. So that could be a reason why the PSA is high without, but there's no cause for concern. But when the PSA is high, you have to do something about it. You have to make sure it was just a false alarm, but you can't just leave it alone. Yeah, maybe the doctor would test again. Yeah. Or maybe just constipation. Anything that could have stimulated the prostate, any rectal, entry or false exit or whatever, could stimulate the prostate and make the PSA high. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about home now, for now. Like I say, most of these tests may not be available, may not be, common to everybody, and not everybody. How could people know otherwise to go and have it checked? Is it just an issue of educating the people? But again,
yeah, I think it's an issue of education, but like I said earlier, when I've looked at people's, because I get a lot of calls, from back home, I have this, I've gone to the doctor. Man, that hospital book is priceless. Take picture of your hospital book, send it for me. And most of the time I see the PSA. I see what they have complained about. A PSA was done. You understand? I see that it was done. Like, I'm trying to give credit to the system, to the healthcare providers. You understand? They are overwhelmed. They don't have the resources, but they do what they have to do. And sometimes the problem is us here. You understand? Because 90% of the time, Africans, we know about health only here.
Right.
The first time we went to the doctor was here. You understand?
Right.
We have never, queried the hospital system, the healthcare system back home. We've never been to a doctor back home. We don't know what is done. And so because we left home, home is not the best. We left home because we were looking for greener pastures. And so we just believe everything there is brown, it's not green, and everything out here is green. And so I usually discourage people from encouraging people back home to be looking forward to healthcare that comes from here, because that is not sustainable. Yeah, you can't have somebody thinking the medicine is going to come from America, because that is not sustainable. You can't be doing that. It's not. So trust the system, understand the system, and use the system. Yeah. And and then even us, when we come here, we have gone to the doctor, we know, the system and stuff like that. And then there's one other thing, and I'm gonna digress a little bit. I'm gonna just dump a lot of information here.
Yes.
From my experience, we would say things like, oh, blood pressure not there for our family. Yeah, but your father never checked his blood pressure. Your father just dropped dead. Like, he never checked his blood pressure. So I always tell our people, please, you've come here, you've used the healthcare system, maybe for the first time, you are now your family health history. So call your brother back home, say, hey, I went to the doctor today, they checked me, I'm diabetic, or I have high blood pressure, please go and check yourself. Yeah. So 90% of the time, you have now become your family health history, because nobody back home has gone to the doctor to do a physical and check themselves like you're doing now. And so when we find something, don't tell me it doesn't run in your family, because it was never checked. Yeah. So, those are little things that, we can just tweak to make a huge difference in our lives. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My friend told me once, she got glasses, and they told her, and she didn't wear her glasses. I'm like, why are you not wearing your glasses? Oh no, I don't think, eye problem don't run in my family. My father never wore glasses. I say, okay, you remember when you used to be passing in the compound, and your father wants to call you, and he calls all the names of your siblings, because he wasn't seeing you. He didn't see you. He was just, he saw a shadow. Saw a figure. He doesn't see your face from afar. He needed glasses. Didn't know what was going on with him. Never went for an eye exam. Like, so your papa, you don't get eye exam. No, your father never had an eye exam. So what do you mean by eye problem don't run in your family? So little things like that. Yeah, just little subtle things that I pay attention to, those things. And I feel like it's not a whole lot that we need, just little tweak, little things, and they'll go a long way.
So what other things do you see within our community that could be brought up? And
yeah, I mean, it's still the idea of we still don't consume healthcare. Yeah, within our community, the African community at large does not consume healthcare. Yeah, and not only the African community,
what do you mean by consume healthcare?
Yeah, like go get checked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go to the hospital. A lot of us work. We have insurance, we pay money every month, but we never go even do your physical. Just go get a physical every year. It's free, on your insurance. Because you get a job full time. I think it used to be three months back in the day. Now your insurance kicks in as soon as you're hired. It's your health care screening is yearly, and that is free if you have insurance. But our people don't get checked. Yeah, and so maybe, I don't know, maybe we should get the people back home to tell the ones here to check themselves. Yeah, because you are my lifeline. You understand? You are my lifeline. If you don't get checked and something happens to you, then I'm gone. Sis, have you checked yourself? Have you gone to the hospital? And I just said, sis, now I'm coming now to our sisters. It's not only men, but there's a lot of dynamics and psychological maneuvers, if I may say, that come into health, especially with men. Why they don't get checked. 90% of the time they know something is wrong, but they don't want to find out. Yeah, they don't want to find out. And when I have convinced people to come get a physical, it's like I'm telling them this physical is always, most of the time, just letting you know that problem you thought you had is not there. And so once I get that physical, I'm like, look at your physical. You're good. So now that's a clean slate for you. So that, you've been sabotaging your health you've been drinking, because most of the time when people think they have something, they don't do anything about it. They feel like, okay, I'm doomed. You know, maybe I have cancer, or maybe something is wrong with my liver. I'm just gonna be drinking my Heineken. You understand? And then you check your blood, you're like, no, you're good. So this is your clean slate. Start from here. So that fear you had that caused you to sabotage your health is not, there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. So now, this is your clean slate. From now on, you feel like you have your life, right? Yeah, okay, now work on it. Stop sabotaging your health. Stop drinking, stop being reckless, stop feeling depressed about what you thought was there, because it's not there. So, but it could be there and it's not. So now do something to make sure it's never there, or it doesn't come sooner. Now that's one of the reasons most of us don't get checked, most Africans, because you're afraid you may have something, or there was a little bell in your head at some point and you thought, oh, something could be wrong with me. But for our people, the action is not let me go check. You know, they retreat back into a closet, they're thinking about it, they're feeling depressed about it, and then they're just drinking their lives away, especially the men. You know, they're just drinking their life away and just thinking, you know, something is wrong. And it's usually maybe, yeah, that prostate. Yeah, because the thought of, that's the most important organ, you know, for a man. The thought of something could be wrong with it, you know, it could go away. I could, you know, if it starts like this, it doesn't get better. You know, for most men, they just kind of sink into a depression and just depress themselves away. Whereas there's a fix. And, you know, after the fix, you know, all departments will still function, you know, after you get treated. So the fear of oh, it's over, you know, I just want to relieve that. That was really the goal of that video, and it's just Najiga for real, you know, for prostate.
You know, when I watched that video and in preparation for this talk, I went online and I read, I listened, and one of the things that, you know, that I picked up from there was that it causes, or it could be a precursor to ED. And I think for men that's a big problem. Talk about it.
Okay. Ooh. Okay, ED. I've spoken to a lot of patients, you know, about ED, and somehow I feel like I'm getting somewhere, but sometimes I feel like this is a man thing. It's a male psychic. Like, how can I break this? So first of all, again, it is when we're growing up as girls, you understand, we know, how do they call it in the dialect? Menopause. There's a way they say it.
Okay.
Yeah. Where, you know, our parents, our mothers, you know, tell us they're going through the change. Yeah. You understand? They're going through the change. So I know that at some point in my late 40s or 50s, I'm gonna go through menopause.
Right.
I'm gonna experience hot flashes. I'm gonna experience all those things. But I don't think African boys are told that by their fathers. You understand? I don't think African boys are told that at some point this is gonna happen to you, and it's part of life. Yeah, it's part of life. It's not, nothing is wrong with you. You know, if you look at all these, your friends, people are sitting here drinking at this age, you all are going through that. You know, and so, you know, talk about it. But most of the time, our men, they sink into a depression. When ED kicks in, there's situations where the wife is suspecting the husband of cheating, but he's not. To the point where he's even not open to his own wife about his eating. And that is who can help you. That is who can, help you in that situation. And you go through that. That's a family affair. But the men, because you were not told, that this is gonna happen to you, when it starts happening to you, you don't know what to do about it. That has been your power. That has been your source of strength. That has been your source of pride. And then all of a sudden, you feel like it's going away. You don't have it anymore. And so you feeling like your life is going, and so you feel like you don't have anything left. And so you're just depressed. Mm-hmm. So I think it's also something that the men should talk about it, and talk to your sons about it. That ED is a natural process. It's a natural process. It's not something that would that you would escape. Just like women will go through menopause. You're not gonna escape it. Mm-hmm. And so if the fathers, are talking to their sons about it, when that time comes, for me, I'm like, okay, I saw my mom go through the change, so I'm going through the change. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not thinking something is wrong with me. I had a chat with my friends, and a few of them didn't know about menopause. They thought they were crazy. They thought something was wrong. But 90% of the time, African girls, they know, because their mothers have expressed it. And when, our mothers are more expressive than our fathers. Our fathers are always sitting in that corner of the compound quiet. They don't talk to nobody.
When you mentioned that, I could just picture my father. Father's coming, I'm going the other way.
Yes, so they don't talk to their boys. We don't. Some of these things are passed down. It's from parent to son, mother to daughter. Stuff like that. It's not. Like I said, you could go to school and have a PhD, 20 PhDs, and if your line of work or study is not healthcare, you don't know these things. You don't know. You could still have 20 PhDs and treat ED just like somebody else who didn't go to school, because you've never really wrapped your mind around it.
What can be done to fix that problem, that communication? What is it that we can do? I mean, this could be part of the education process, but what is it that we could do to assist the men in opening up?
It's a lot. You understand?
Okay.
It's a lot. It's about sexuality. It's about sex and intercourse. Like if you've been able to have intercourse with your wife, with your girlfriend from the age of 20, 30, 40, you're able to do stuff. And then all of a sudden, you can't. You understand? And you were able to do just one thing. And then all of a sudden, you can't. So you feel like your life is going away. So I always tell, my patients, you start, and then another problem is also that Yeah, be open with sexuality. Because African women are not supposed to express themselves sexually. You understand? So, culturally speaking, what you know is what you guys discussed as guys in your locker rooms and stuff, about sex. And so, you penetrate, you thrust, and that's it. But and then the girls are also taught to fake an orgasm. You understand? So but if when you were younger you have explored other things to do with your wife, you the man, when ED sets in, you understand? Because the thing is, the problem with you, with the man is the provider, right? He has been able to provide for his wife, materially, financially, and orgasm. He's been able to do that for his wife. So now all of a sudden he thinks he can't do it. And so now the problem that happens in the family is like she is thinking he's cheating. Then he is also thinking, since I'm not doing this for her, she's probably doing it somewhere else. But if when you were younger, you explore other ways of satisfying your wife, at this stage of ED, you're fine. You can still pleasure each other without an erection, or you understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I tell my patients. Yeah. So it's not something. Yeah, it's like you know that in this life, I'm living. I'm traveling somewhere. At some point, I'm gonna cross a bridge. So I'm preparing for that. So that's gonna happen. So I think it's because our sexuality is so limited. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the one thing we know, when it's taken away, we're like, life is over. Mm-hmm. Whereas it could be better. Yeah, and most of the time, the women know what to do, but they're scared. They don't want to do it because the man will judge her, like, how you know the thing. Yeah, so yeah, it's something to be open. Yeah, but just be open and talk about it. Yeah, and start from a younger age, because the women were taught to fake it. The men were taught, this is how you do it, and then you can't do it anymore. You think that's it. Mm-hmm. No, that's not it. Mm. I know we may have time to talk about, women, because we have our special place, we have to. But another thing, prostate cancer affects Black men, heart disease affects Black women. Yeah.
Interesting. Is that because of the education problem, or is it?
No, it's because, let me tell you something. When I went home in 2005 and did that health screening, 90% of our mothers have hypertension.
Oh, Lordy. That's a high percentage.
Yeah. And the fathers, their blood pressures were okay. You understand? Yeah. And so, you see these women walking around with a blood pressure of 240 over 130, and they're walking around. You understand? And they're not having symptoms. Because they've been used to stress. You understand? They've been used to dealing with things that mimic the symptoms of high blood pressure. And so as that blood pressure is going up, whatever subtle symptoms that they're supposed to feel mimic other stressors, other things they're dealing with in their lives. And so they don't know it. They don't know the blood pressure is high. So when your blood pressure is going up, or blood sugar, when numbers are trending up in healthcare, most of the time you don't feel anything. Yeah. When your blood pressure is trending up 140, 170, 180, sometimes you don't feel it. You could have a headache, and then maybe you came home that evening and relaxed a little bit, the blood pressure dropped a little bit, the headache goes away, and then you move on with your life, but it's still climbing up. And that 180, your body has adjusted. Your body keeps adjusting to a high. And then at some point, your body's like, I've given you signals. I've told you something is wrong over and over, but you're not doing anything about it. Excuse me. And that's how, heart disease creeps into the population for black women. Yeah, because black women have the tendency, the ability, or I don't know if it's an ability or the tendency, that should not even be okay, to walk around with a high blood pressure and not have symptoms. Yeah, and I struggle with telling them the fact that you don't have symptoms doesn't mean your heart is not struggling. Yeah, but your heart is struggling because your heart has been struggling with other things your whole life. And so when it's struggling with this blood pressure, you don't see it as something new. You don't feel it as something new. You just think this is life, but it's your blood pressure. So the only way to know your blood pressure is high is to check it. Yeah. Is to check it, and they call it the silent killer. And that's why, because when it's trending up, you don't feel anything. Yeah. So that is it for my sisters. Check your blood pressure once a week. Every pharmacy in town has a blood pressure curve. When you go to Walgreens or Walmart, Kroger, any of these stores that have a pharmacy, they have a blood pressure machine. Just walk in there, sit down for take a breath in and out, or maybe 2 minutes, put your hand in that blood pressure thing and check your blood pressure. Yeah, that's sometimes the only way you can find out that you have high blood pressure. By the time you're having symptoms of high blood pressure, is also late. Yeah, that is when you're stroking out. There's a lot of stroke, about three or four of our sisters are having strokes right now in town. There's brain aneurysm from elevated blood pressure. Yeah, and so we have, so you'll have a headache. When you were young, you have, during your menstrual cycle, you have headaches. You feel funny. And so when blood pressure comes, sometimes it's nothing different. The symptoms you feel, they're not that different from every other thing you've experienced in life. And so you think this is just, that thing. I mean, from the age of 30, it doesn't have, there's no age. Just check your blood pressure, that's it. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, every household should get a blood pressure curve at home. Yeah, you don't even have to go, the 39.99, 49.99, 59.99, 69 for one blood pressure curve at home. Yeah, and maybe every cultural group, if we could say that, you understand? Every cultural group in Mangkon, Bafut, Bambui, when we go sit and eat and drink, we should take care of each other. You understand? Okay, we come meeting the start for 4. Before we start meeting, for 3:30, we'll go check blood pressure. You understand? Like every cultural group invest in something like that. A blood pressure curve. Even if it's you meet once a month, if you check it once a month, that's better than nothing at all. Yeah. Or there has been a call for everybody to register with SAGI. Okay? So that call should also extend to everybody should buy a blood pressure curve. Yeah. When you buy life insurance in America, the life insurance company is not interested in you dying. They send stuff to you at home to make sure you're taking care of your health, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think those are the little things we could do to help ourselves. Blood pressure curve. Every family should invest in one. Yeah. Every family should, I think, get a blood pressure curve for every family. That would save. Yeah. And your blood pressure, your blood pressure should run around 120 over 80, that magic number. Nobody walks around with a blood pressure like that, but that's the guideline that you follow. Yeah.
Yeah, for people who don't know, which, there's information out there, anybody can find out. But for people who don't know, what is the range? You say they have a cup at home. What is the range, or what are the numbers?
Yeah.
That they because I could take those things and get those numbers, but don't know what they mean.
And then the good thing is also those blood pressure curves. They say your blood pressure is high. That's another good thing. They would say that, that your blood pressure is high. But if you have one that doesn't tell you it's high, a blood pressure of 140, 140 over 90 and trending up, you should be concerned. Yeah, but you could check your blood pressure once it's high. That doesn't mean you're hypertensive, because blood pressure could be high for several reasons. But if your blood pressure is, you're checking it every day and it's trending up, it means, something you need to start keeping an eye on it.
Sure.
Yeah. And don't say, I don't want to take medicine for the rest of my life. Like, what does that mean?
So
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to have you back to talk about other things. What do you think we could talk about subsequently?
We could expand.
Okay.
We could expand on that, or we could just really get into education. There was this book we had back home called Our Way to God. When I was growing up, I went to Catholic primary school. We had Our Way to God. So maybe we come up with something, Our Way to Health. You understand?
Are you gonna come up with that?
Like those little things. Like what can you do? What can you do in your little corner, in your little town, or your little quarter in the village, your little village? That can look like Our Way to God or Our Way to Health. Something like that. The people in your locality, because sometimes you have to understand the people in order to bring something to them. You can't just import. You have to first of all understand, their lives, and then there's application of knowledge. Yeah.
We have talked quite a lot. And again, I want to thank you for coming to share. We're going to have you back to expand on what we talked about.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. When I went to school, the one thing I picked up in school, to some people it might be something so minute, they call it cultural competent care. Yeah. So I have the competency. I can proudly say I have the competency to take care of African people, because I'm culturally competent. Yeah. So when I talk about African health, it's not that I'm not taking care of the other cultures. It's just that I understand what cultural competent care means, and with each culture, I can do what that culture needs, because that's how you meet the health of people, by understanding their lifestyle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So where can people get to you if they want to?
Yeah, my clinic is located on Highway 6 in Bel Air.
Okay.
Yeah, the address is 7035 Highway 6 South.
Folks, I'm going to put that in the description below.
And you could reach us via phone. Our phone number is 281-741-2612, or via email at prohealthhouston, prohealthhouston.com. Yeah, cn@prohealthhouston.com or prohealthhouston@gmail.com. Yeah.
All that information, I'm going to list them in the description box, so you can reach her if you need to, maybe just to talk or to get whatever help, education-wise and everything.
Not just to talk.
Not just to talk, right? Education, not just to talk.
At the clinic, we can't just be talking at the clinic, because I'm working.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working.
Hey.
Yeah, but stop by and say hi, and then we go from there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
I thank you
coming.
so much for the opportunity.
Sure.
And I'm happy you felt like there's a need, and you are filling a void, which is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. It's been another edition of Against the Odds. Hope you pick something from this conversation and would use it to your advantage. Thank you for watching.